Ready to go.
Okay. Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're working on a John Deere JS20 mower that just won't move. Now I have a feeling it's either a cable or a bad belt, but we really won't know until we get inside. So all you new people out there, go ahead and subscribe. It's free and that's what we work for. Today we decided to try to use filters in the videos. I was told I'll look better if I have a filter on it. So this is a Honda filter and this is an Echo filter. So let me know if it makes any difference. Seriously though, let's get started. Now this big boy's got a quantum engine and she's completely cold right now. She's room temperature. And I like the quantum engine because they're usually the best starting engines out there. But running isn't this thing's problem. Pretty nice considering cold, and it's much quieter than most mowers are. The problem you run into, I don't know if you can hear that, she doesn't want to move. Now this could be anything from a cable adjustment clear up to a new belt. And God knows, it could be a tied up transmission. So let's get inside it and see what's going on. Nice thing about the JS20 and all the mowers that have this big plastic piece on the back is the drive system's right underneath it. So we can take this cover off and get a look underneath and see exactly what we've got going on. Now, as always, we've got a magnet, and we're going to use it to save all our screws so we don't lose anything later. Put it up top there, and with the screws out, let's see what's underneath. And there you go. That's your whole drive system right there. It doesn't get any easier than that. And you can see it's got an adjustment right here, but we don't know if we're going to need to adjust it or put a new belt on it. Now, the belt looks okay. Now, wait a second. Now, our back belt's completely off. Let's get her on. That could be the problem. We could have had a jumped belt the whole time. Okay, now I've got this wheel jacked all the way up. We're going to put our handy little 7/16 on. That looks like I could have done that from the other side just as easily. To get that out of the way. Now we'll jump our belt back into place. Let's spin this around to give us a little slack. And she should be good to go. Let's put her on the ground and check her just like this. We're going to leave it open so that we can get a better look. Yeah, I wanted you to get a look at the drive mechanism while it's running. We've got one lever. This controls how much tension's on the belt. And this is that's the rabbit side here. And on the other one is the engage and disengage, which is right there. But it'll remain pretty disengaged unless the engine's running. So we're going to set this on full rabbit and start her up. So as you can see, she's not engaged, but you can feel it engage when you hit the gear. And now she's running like a champ. And on full rabbit, she's pretty fast. So we're going to loosen it up some. Now when we engage it, as you can see, it doesn't do much. So we'll give it a little bit more tension. And you can give it, see, with it engaged on all the way on turtle, you got nothing. But as you engage it more, you put more pressure on the belt and she takes off. And it really is about blade slip. So now the trick is this jumped for a reason. And everything was in place and the belt still jumped. So we're going to go ahead and replace the belt now. It's kind of warm out here today. Now, I strongly advise against doing this until you have the new belt in hand, because the routing of the belt and the little pulleys and the little guards that keep it on are not obvious once you've got it apart. So let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is loosen this little clamp. And keep in mind that everything goes backwards when you're working underneath it. It's not as obvious as you might think. So this will usually let it let go. It let it let go once already. Okay, now the next one is this little guard here. So we're going to loosen this bolt up to get this guard out of the way. It'll swing around and come off pretty easy. And take lots of pictures when you're doing something like this, because this won't be obvious, and where the spring goes and things like that are going to be a complete mystery later. So now we'll leave these here, and we'll put these on our magnet and loop the belt completely away from this stuff. We'll get it out of the way before we go underneath. Let's take that too. You see how that fits? That's not going to be obvious if you don't have a picture. We're taking the top washer and putting it on the magnet. And we'll also take this set, which is one big fat washer, and put it on the magnet. So let's leave this here and let's go underneath. Now while we're underneath, we'll use our handy jack stand to hold it up. Little table has lips on it for a reason. These little lips on the table are there for a reason, to hold things in place so it won't roll off the back. So you can see underneath, we've got these two retainers, and they keep the belt from jumping off. So we'll loosen them up. And now we'll take the belt over the blade, and this is why we did the top end first. Take it over the blade on the other side and pull it through. Now it looks like it wants to pull through this way. And we can do that too. And there's our belt. I turned our light up just a little bit, make it a little easier to see. So now we're going to take the new belt and loop it over the blade and feed it through the little hole back here, which is just right here. There it goes. Up and we're jumping off. I'm going back to the other end and trying to pull it through. And there it goes. So once we get it all the way through, we'll go ahead and reattach everything under here. Get it up in its little pulley. Now let's tighten these back down so it won't try to run away when it's running. There's one, and it's right on the edge, and you want to make sure it's not actually touching. And this one just sits across the top of the pulley. So we'll hold that there. Takes 3 hands to do this easily. Oh, a little too loose. Let's turn it to attach. There you go, right about there. Try to hold her still. Now when a belt's new, it'll fight you sometimes because it's just that tiny little bit shorter than the old belt. So the old belt came off pretty easy, but the new belt won't necessarily go on quite as easily. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to this transmission pulley. Since this transmission doesn't move on its own, we put a socket on it, and we're going to rotate the transmission and pull the belt into place. See, she's almost there. And there it is. Now she's in place. And now we go up and around, and we put the other pulley back together. So that means we'll need this to go like this, and taking pictures, of course, will save your life in this part, because then you'll remember that this goes next, and then this. However, this one goes around the belt, this one goes around the belt and underneath. So you want it to clip on the belt. We're going to hang on to the little nut and Ouija everything back into place. Perfect. So now we'll get that nut started. Put the washer back on this side. Get this nut started. Now it's trying to fall down, so I don't know if it's going to argue with us. Come on, nut. Get back up there. Let's see where we're at. push it down, try to get her started. There we go, that'll do it. That should do it, I'll say. There you go, now that one's started. This one's in place. Now it's just a matter of tightening everything up and giving her a run. And lucky enough, this little clamp will hold this in place. There we go. And that's it. And your belt's a little bit tight, and you may think that's a problem, but once we're running, you'll see it's not. So let's take her back outside and see how she runs now. I left the back cover off so you can see she's going to be more rabbit than not when she first starts, only because the belt's tight because it's brand new. But the way the transmission works on this, that's okay. So even though we're on full throttle, it still wants to take off pretty fast. Once the belt breaks in a little bit, she'll be good to go. That came out really nice. Now it's not really going to have a slow gear for the first couple of times they use it, just simply because the new belt is just that much shorter. It's not all stretched out like the old belt was. So I'm not quite sure how the filters worked in this video, but hopefully they helped. So all you new people out there, if you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It's free and it's what we work for. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.